Okay, now we're going to talk about the classic series of Ampeg. It's probably one of the most popular series out of the Ampeg line. Reason why we call it classic is obviously it is the classic Ampeg look. In terms of head, the classic heads are plug and play, meaning there's not a lot of knobs on the amplifier. You can pretty much plug in, turn a couple of knobs, you get a great sound. In terms of the cabinets, it has the classic Ampeg look. It's the black Tolex, the white piping, and the black grill cloth. And of course, this guy here, the classic Ampeg logo. Do yourself a favor, next time you're watching a show or any late night show or whatever, look for that, because this is the classic look that you see behind every bass player on concert stages around the world. But there's some magic that goes into the cabinets as well that really makes them a classic series cabinet. To start, we make all different sorts of sizes and configurations of the classic series cabinets, ranging from the 810 cabinets to a 610 HLF to a 410 HLF, and we'll turn this guy around a little bit, but that's the 410 HE, and we'll discuss that too. Everything from ported cabinets to sealed cabinets, cabinets with horns. We make a single 15, the SVT-15E is also a part of the classic series cabinets. What differentiates our classic series cabinets from most cabinets is one thing that we do is we use stamp frame baskets. We don't use cast frame baskets in our speakers. Basically, just as a quick lesson on the difference between the two, a stamp frame basket is literally the frame of the basket is stamped out of a piece of sheet metal and then formed into a basket. And what that does is, as the speaker moves back and forth, the basket actually flexes with that speaker. And what that does is it gives you a nice warm sound. That's kind of where the classic series cabinets, their sound comes from. With a cast frame basket, it's actually molded out of molten metal and then set into a cast and then cooled and hardened. And what that does is, as the basket or as the speaker moves back and forth, because of the rigidity of the basket, it doesn't move. So you get a much more faster, cleaner transient. But like I said, with the stamp frame baskets in the classic series cabinets, it allows that speaker to break up. It allows it to sound a lot warmer and a lot rounder than you would out of a cast frame. So like we said, in the 810 cabs, the 610s, the 410s, everything but the SVT-15 comes with a stamp frame basket. Let's talk about the 810s. Basically, we have an 810E, and right next to it is an 810AV. Construction-wise, there's really no difference. They're the same cabinet. It's basically just a cosmetic thing. If you have an SVT-VR with these types of cosmetics on it, you probably want to go with an AV cab. If you have an SVT-CL, you probably want to go with these cosmetics on the 810 cab. The one thing that really differentiates the 810 cab from everybody else's 810 cab is this. Each row of 210s is its own speaker cabinet. So essentially in an 810 cab, you have 4 210 cabinets, completely baffled off from one another. It's what we call an infinite baffle design. All the speakers are mounted to one single baffle board, and then each row is completely cordoned off from the other. So if I were to take this grill cloth off and press on one 10-inch speaker, you'd actually see the opposing 10 pop out because it's a sealed design. What that allows you to do is two things. It allows you to put a tremendous amount of power into the cabinet, and that cabinet will just absorb that power and throw it right back out at you. The other thing, the other benefit of an 810 cab is if I'm standing here setting my EQ, the sound I'm hearing here is the same sound that you're hearing 40 feet into the club. Because of the 10-inch design, the transients are very quick, so the sine waves are very small. So it doesn't take that long for the wave to develop before it gets out into the club. But because there's so many 10-inch speakers working together, it just creates a huge sound. There's a little bit of magic in there too that I can't really describe. Every bass player that I've interviewed in the past, we talk about the 810 cab, and they all say, man, I don't know what you do, but there's something in that cab that is just magical. And I notice it too. I've been playing an 810 cab pretty much all my life as a bass player, and there's just something in there that's different from every other cabinet. But that's the heart and soul of an A10 cab, is the separated 210 cabinets. Okay, to continue on talking about the Classic Series cabinets, you know, one thing that, as I'm describing the cabinets, you're looking at an A10 cab going, man, that thing's too huge to move. But, you know, we thought about that at Ampeg as well. We put sturdy grab, what they call towel handles on the back, slide rails, and a nice little kick plate on the bottom. So you can actually kick it back like a dolly and move it to wherever you need to move it. Now, you say, all right, well, that's cool. How do I get it in the back of my truck? Well, what I usually do with my A10 is I'll back it up to the tailgate and kick it back and slide it in like a gurney. That's what these slide rails are here for. So basically, that's featured on the A10 cabs, the 610, and the 410. The 410 HE is a little bit smaller. It's something more manageable that you can pick up and move around. So, but on the bigger cabinets, it's a necessity. Yeah.